Well, good afternoon, my friends, and welcome back. This is a Cumberland outdoorsman out here at my shooting bench once again with yet another video for my 22 rimfire series. Well, it's been a long time coming. What am I talking about? Well, in this video we're going to be talking about the 22 short, particularly the 22 short hollow point. Here on the table I've got some vintage 22 ammo, and before I give away what's new, I wanted to show you all what Remington used to produce back in the day. Here's some old vintage Remington 22 short hollow point ammo. I showed this recently on a video, and one of my viewers brought to me the attention of something new that came out. Here you can see 22 short hollow point. This is their famous golden bullet that was made for years and years. I mean, for many years. And as you can see, it's definitely a short, and it's a hollow point. It says here high speed. Now, Remington also produced cartridges by way of a partner company, and that partner company was Peters. And for those of you that have been in the hunting and shooting community for a long time, you're very well familiar with the Peters cartridge company. Peters made ammunition for Remington for many, many years. They made rimfire, centerfire, and also shot shell ammunition for hunters, shooters, but also for law enforcement. And as you can see here, this is pretty much the same cartridge. It has that famous Remington golden bullet, as you can see, in 22 short hollow point. And these have a U stamped at the head of each cartridge, which stands for Union Metallic Cartridge Company. Okay. These were made in Bridgeport, Connecticut, and these were made at a time when Remington and Peters were owned by DuPont. And there you can see the famous DuPont logo on the side of the box there. I think you can see that. And I believe this box, yeah, it also has that right there, that DuPont logo. Okay. And then the latest 22 short hollow point loading. Now that loading came in this famous Remington green and yellow package that so many of you are familiar with. You know, I remember my first 22. I've still got it, but I remember when my dad came through the door and had that green Remington box over his shoulder. And it was a Remington Model 581, much like this one here. And it had that same lettering and the same Remington green. This particular cartridge gives you a little bit of ballistic data. It says bullet weight 27 grains, bullet style hollow point, velocity 1,120 feet per second at the muzzle, retaining 904 feet per second out to 100 yards. That's pretty impressive for such a diminutive little cartridge. Energy from the muzzle, escape energy from the muzzle, is 75 foot-pounds, and retaining 49 foot-pounds out to 100 yards, almost 50 foot-pounds. That's impressive. And then the mid-range trajectory at 100 yards is 4.4 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and open this box. There you can see 22 short, high velocity. Same cartridge. The only difference is in the head stamp. Here you can see the head stamp saying REM, which of course stands for Remington, but still pretty much the same loading as those other two. And for many years, Remington did not make a 22 short hollow point. Yes, they made a 22 short, but not a hollow point. Which brings us to today's video and what it's all about. Here it is. I think this is the first review of this cartridge here. This is Remington's new 22 short hollow point. Right there you can see it. It's rated at 1,105 feet per second. And it says here it's for plinking, target, and squirrel hunting. Okay, I would say small game as well, because if you can bring down a squirrel, you can certainly bring down something like a cottontail, you know. But there you can see the cartridges. They have the famous Remington R head stamp. I'll take one out of the package and show it to you. And, you know, at first glance, it looks very familiar to me. And no doubt, you know, it doesn't look exactly like the old Remington loadings, but there's no doubt in me that it's a quality product, because, you know, CCI, Remington, and Federal are all sister companies, and I'm sure that they produce components for one another, this one here being no exception. But either way, I'm really anxious to try these out. We're going to shoot these here at the range, and then we're going to take them out in the woods and do some squirrel hunting. So without further ado, let's do a little testing with the new Remington 22 short hollow point. The gun I'll be using is this Remington Model 581. This is a first year edition, 1967 model. And we'll be shooting at a target, first of all, to see what kind of accuracy we can get out of that cartridge. And also, we're going to be checking for expansion out here at 35 yards. And then we're going to take it out in the woods and see how well it performs on actual game. So come along with me. Let's give it a try. Let's test it out. Okay, here I've got 5 rounds loaded up in the magazine, and we're going to go ahead and zoom in on this target I've got down there at 38 yards. Get a little bit closer there. Get loaded up here. All right, here we go. First shot with the Remington 22 short hollow point. I figure 35 yards, 40 yards or so is a good distance for testing the 22 short, because that's about where we would encounter the game that we're after this time of year. All right. Well, I'll tell you, I'm really impressed with that little group. That is excellent. There you can see the firing pin impact on the rim of that cartridge there. So now, folks, we're going to go ahead and put up the expansion medium at the same distance and see how well this ammunition can expand. Being that it's 22 short hollow point, I'm sure it'll do quite well. Okay, guys, down there at the same distance, 38 yards, I've got some expansion medium. It's wet newsprint, and as you can see, it's dripping there in the box. So let me go ahead and take a few shots at it, and we'll see how well this stuff performs at the same distance. Okay. Let's go down there and check it out. Okay, there you can see the initial impact of both cartridges. Okay, I finally dug those bullets out. It took me a little while to find them, There's one of them, and there's the other. There you can see they definitely do expand. Nice little mushroom there. Well guys, you'll have to excuse my hands. They got kind of dark from the ink off of that newsprint, but I dug those bullets out, and there you can see that's a good example of what the 22 short is capable of. You know, good expansion. That means it's releasing all its energy pretty quickly. And you know, normally the 22 short is not regarded as an accurate loading, but that group right there is nothing to scoff at. You know, you can cover all 5 shots there with the tip of my finger there. So that's excellent accuracy. And that's a headshot on a squirrel or a rabbit every time, like I always say, you know, or at least in the vitals, at the very least. And I would say out to 50 yards or so, they should do quite well. So anyway, I need to get all this stuff put up and get ready, because tomorrow morning we're going squirrel hunting, and we're going to take that little rifle and some of these shells with us, and we'll see if we can bag a squirrel or two. So come along with me. Well, good morning, my friends. Here I am out in the woods, and I'm seeing lots of squirrel activity. I've already spotted several squirrels. I'm hearing feeding activity. I'm hearing them jumping back and forth in the trees and going up and down tree trunks. I'm seeing evidence of feeding here on the ground. Here we got a red hickory behind us, another one right here in front of us, and then a mockernut hickory. So there's quite a few hickory trees right in this area. There's a shellbark hickory further down, and I tell you what, conditions are really calm this morning. It's about 57 degrees, so it's very comfortable. Not too hot, not too cold, and it's just a glorious morning. The sun's coming out, and just a good morning to be out in the woods. So let's get back here a little bit further back and get set up and get settled in, see what comes along here. Folks, I think I found the right place here, right here by this big red oak. And the ground is just absolutely covered in cuttings, as you can see. I mean, just all over the place. This is what they're after, right here. So I want to get set up right here. I can hear these squirrels dropping nuts and acorns out of the trees right here. And Well, that was the kind of shot that I would normally take with a long rifle, you know, long rifle load. But those Remington 22 shorts, they're pretty well on the money. I decided to come out here again this evening because this morning I harvested that one squirrel over across the ridge, and then I noticed that there was some moving here this morning, and came back here this afternoon and sat under this tree, and I've been watching that squirrel up there feeding way at the top of that hickory right there. And then finally he moved and went over and got up high in this other tree over here on the other side of the ridge. I don't know how far that was, probably 60 yards or so. But I'll tell you what, he laid down flat on a limb, and I couldn't get a shot at his head, but I could see his body, so I aimed right behind the front shoulder, and that's where it hit him. Right there, perfect shot. So, you know, that squirrel never knew where the shot came from or what hit him, so it was a quick, ethical kill, just like that one this morning. I mean, it was boom, he was down for the count. That's what I like about those short hollow points, is because they impart enough upset when that bullet impacts, and there's some expansion there as that bullet hits, that it puts the game down right away. I mean, there's no hesitation. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here, and I'll be back with you to close out the video. Well, my friends, I hope you enjoyed that little squirrel hunt, because I certainly did. You know, that was the first hunt of the year, and temperatures were still rather cool. It was below 60 degrees. The sun was just coming out, hardly any wind, and lots of squirrel activity. So I was really excited to get it back out in the woods with one of my favorite 22 rifles. And you know, when you got a good, accurate rifle like this here, and the ammunition that you're using proves to be accurate in that rifle, then that builds confidence as a hunter, you know, because you got to have confidence when you go afield. If you don't have confidence, you're not going to be successful. But with that winning combination right there, I knew that if I could get those crosshairs on those squirrels, that I would harvest at least a few of them, and that's all I wanted. So I wanted to get out in the woods and share that with you. So anyway, folks, I know it's getting kind of late, and I need to go ahead and close out this video, but keep one thing in mind. Remember, if you like to go hunting, fishing, camping, shooting, hiking, no matter what your outdoor pursuit happens to be, I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. But also remember this: hit that like button, smash that bell icon, and subscribe. That way you'll know when more videos like this one will be coming your way. So until next time, y'all take good care of yourselves, get out there and enjoy the great outdoors, and God bless. I'll be seeing you.